When I play an action RPG like Diablo, Path of Exile, or Grim Dawn, I always enjoy the story. The story is obviously a big part of it, but that's not the main thing that holds my attention in these games. It's actually the progression systems. How is my character growing and evolving? How is my druid different from every other druid? These are important parts for me when I decide whether or not a game is worth my time. Should I fire it back up again? Diablo 4's progression systems are taking a huge leap forward when compared to previous games in the franchise. The developers are targeting depth, customization, and individuality when designing ways for players to improve their character. So you have things like sweeping changes to skills, the reintroduction of class trees, and a brand new addition in the form of Paragon Boards. With all of this, Diablo 4 is looking brighter than ever. So let's take a look at all of the ways that you'll be able to make your favorite class fit a little bit better. The skill tree in Diablo 4 has gone through multiple iterations since first being revealed back in 2019 as an ode to the old Diablo 2 tree. Then fast forward to 2020 and we see a large red tree that I thought looked visually appealing, but the functionality just really kind of wasn't there. It just didn't make sense in an actual game. Then we have the latest version in 2022, which is a cluster-based tree that offers some depth and choice while keeping things relatively easy to understand. The way this works is that when you level up, you're going to gain a single skill point and you can spend that on your tree. You're going to continue to accrue points all the way up to level 50. Now, once you reach 50, the only way to earn more points is through the Renown system, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this video. Now, as I mentioned before, the tree is split into clusters. These clusters are going to unlock as you spend more points in the tree. So not everything will be available from the get-go, but over time, you should have quite a few choices. Now in those clusters, you have things like square nodes. These are your actual skills. Once you unlock these, you can put them on your hotbar and cast them in combat. Then you have round nodes. These are upgrades to that skill. So the first round node that you see is an enhancement node. This is going to augment your skill to do something different, to either add an effect or add a bonus. So for instance, we have Firebolt. Firebolt's enhancement will cause it to pierce burning enemies. Then after that enhancement node, you'll be given a choice between two upgrade nodes. Each of these will sort of further modify that skill and provide more bonuses. So continue with Firebolt, for instance. The two upgrade nodes you'll be getting are Glinting and Flickering. A Glinting Fireball is going to cause crits with Firebolt to increase the burning damage that target takes for a short duration. A Flickering Firebolt is going to gain mana whenever the Firebolt hits an enemy. So depending on what you value, you might want to go for more mana recovery. Or if you're somebody who wants to chain a bunch of crits together and do a ton of damage, go with the Glinting option. So this example is just one of the many that exist in the skill tree. Every skill has these. So having extra options to customize your character is a huge plus. We know that from my intro. This is something that really stood out to me. There's a lot of different ways to customize your character to sort of fit that playstyle that you're looking for. So the question is, what if you make a wrong choice? So luckily, Diablo 4 lets you respec in exchange for gold. Now, the cost is low at the beginning. Low levels, it's going to be like a gold, maybe 5 pieces of gold. It's not going to be very much. But as you level higher and higher and higher, that cost will ramp up very quickly, to the point where Blizzard mentioned in a recent interview that they imagine players opting to re-roll a class rather than spend their entire savings account in order to respec the full skill tree. Before we move on, I want to touch on one more thing. So +1 to skills are back on gear as an affix. You can get +1 to maul, +1 to swipe. So it is possible to find an item early on that unlocks a skill before you would naturally have access to it. So they said taking advantage of this would be a good way to both test new skills that you don't have yet to figure out, is this a playstyle I want to play as, or improve the ones that you have. So all in all, the skill tree looks incredibly interesting, but we haven't got a full kind of visual of it yet. We also haven't been able to go in and actually get our hands on it. So this is going to be one of those things that it looks good on paper, but we'll have to take a step back, and once we get into the game, figure out if this is something that'll actually work in the long run. The next thing I want to talk about are altars to Lilith. So altars of Lilith are hidden statues that are scattered throughout Sanctuary. Right now, we know that there are 28 in the Fractured Peaks region, so there are a lot of these things out there. Now, they're usually found off the beaten path, right? Dead ends, things hidden behind bushes, walk through the waterfall type of deal. So be sure to look high and low because they will definitely be worth your time. Now, once you find an altar, you'll be able to permanently increase a specific stat for all characters on your account. And this is going to pay huge dividends as you level more and more characters, because then they're going to start with higher and higher stats to make early game leveling much faster. Now, each discovered altar will improve one of the following: strength, intelligence, willpower, dexterity, or maximum life. Now, whichever stat is chosen will increase by 2 points other than life, which is actually increased by 8. So that'll be 2 strength, 2 intelligence, 2 willpower, so on and so forth, or 8 life. Now, from what we can assume, these appear to be a one-time unlock, and after that, they're expended, so if you go back and try to find the same one on a new character, it'll already be claimed. Now, this chart from Wowhead does a really good job of showing how impactful these altars can be on a freshly made character. Here we can see the difference in stats for a sorcerer at level 1 between having altars and not having altars. So without the 17 altars, the sorcerer has a base stat of 7 strength, 10 intellect, 8 willpower, 7 dexterity, and 40 life. With your altars, this same sorcerer at level 1 will start with 15 strength, 22 intellect, 14 willpower, 9 dexterity, and 64 life. Is the same level, huge difference. So being able to find these things and unlock them is going to be something that you want to do with your time. Now, whether that's go through the entire game and try to find as many as you can while you work through the story, and then go back and try to find them later, however you want to do it, but just don't skip these altars of Lilith. The next thing let's talk about is the Renown system. So before, towards the beginning of this video, I talked about the skill tree and how once you hit level 50, you no longer earned skill points. And the Renown system is going to be your secondary source of skill points. So let's talk about what this thing actually is. The Renown system is a new way to reward players for actively exploring the world and completing various tasks throughout Sanctuary. So as players discover areas, they find those altars of Lilith, they unlock waypoints, complete side quests and dungeons, or they take back strongholds, you will gain Renown points. And then these points are going to accumulate over time, and once you reach a certain milestone, you're going to earn rewards. So for the character that you claim them on, you're going to receive experience in gold, while all other characters on your account will earn either a skill point, a potion charge, or Paragon points. So let's move into the biggest form of progression, and this one actually comes towards the end of the game after you hit level 50, and that is Paragon Boards. Paragon Boards were one of the biggest things when they first announced them that kind of drew me into Diablo 4 outside of just it being Diablo 4. This was the first system that I got really excited to see and I wanted to see more of. Paragon Boards are a new progression system that's coming in Diablo 4 that'll unlock once players hit level 50. And in this new system, players will get a Paragon board, a starting board, looks like a tile set, and you're going to spend Paragon points to unlock tiles as you work your way outwards towards the edges of the board. Located on the edges of the board, you'll see things called gate tiles. These gate tiles, think of these like connectors. Once you reach this gate, you'll be given the choice to choose another Paragon board. Pick the one that best fits your playstyle, your build, whatever you want to do, and then the board that you've chosen will snap onto your existing board. So you go from 1 board to 2 boards. And then on that new one, you can continue spending Paragon points to work your way through that board, unlocking all the things that mean the most to you. So the entire goal here is to pick the boards that fit your build, spend your Paragon points to unlock all the tiles that you want on that board on your way to another gate tile. Reach that gate tile, pick a new board, and continue to repeat this process until you're out of Paragon points. Which I know to Diablo 3 fans, that was a surprising statement. What do you mean we're out of Paragon points? Yes, so in Diablo 4, you don't have unlimited Paragon points. You get 4 points per level, and then according to some reports, you have a grand total of 200 Paragon points, and that's your max. So spend those 200 however you want to spend them, but you are capped in Diablo 4. So let's talk about some of the different tiles that you're going to see on these boards, because not every tile is made equally. So first you have normal tiles. Think of these like common or white name tiles. These are basic, they provide small bonuses, they'll make up the majority of the board, and really there's kind of a bridge to get you from point A to point B. Next, you have magic tiles. These are found in clusters, and they're going to provide a little bit more diverse and potent benefits for the player. Then you have rare tiles. These are going to provide large boosts to your power, and it will also provide additional benefits once the player reaches a certain attribute threshold. So once you get past 15 dexterity, you'll unlock a secondary bonus that this rare tile will have locked. So again, this is going to be one of those things you want to strategize on because there's only 6 rare tiles per board. You want to make sure to get the ones that best fit you, and you want to make sure that you have the right attributes to take full advantage of these tiles. And then lastly, we have legendary tiles. These are found at the center of the board, and unlocking these will provide a new legendary power for you to use. So tiles aren't the only thing on the Paragon board that'll provide big boosts to power. You'll also have things called glyphs, and these can be equipped into sockets that are across the board. Now, glyphs themselves, these are dropped items that you can find out in the world of Sanctuary, and then once you consume them, you can then socket them into your Paragon board. This is going to provide bonuses to any tiles that are within their radius. So if we look at this screenshot, for instance, you can see in the upper right-hand corner that this player has a glyph equipped that's affecting a number of tiles around it. Obviously, we don't know exactly what this one does, but we do have some examples of what magic and rare glyphs can do. The other thing is, glyphs aren't static. You can level these up to extend their reach or provide bigger bonuses. Now, lastly, you might be wondering if we will see the same boards over and over and over. Yes, to a certain extent, but Blizzard has confirmed that they will be adding new boards over time to help keep things fresh and provide new ways for players to spend Paragon points. So don't expect to see these ones just until the end of time. Instead, we'll probably see the same ones going through the first season, and then after that, new Paragon boards will be added. So let's talk about the last form of progression, and that's world tiers or difficulty tiers. I'll be really fast with this one. Diablo 4 also has world tiers, just like in the previous games. Here you can increase the difficulty of the world in exchange for things like better drop rates. However, if you make it all the way into a world tier 5, which is the Torment tier, you'll also gain access to new unique items and the ancestral rarity. So it is worth your time to progress through those world tiers, unlocking harder and harder difficulties while improving your build. That way you get access to some of the best items in the game. So when it comes to progression in Diablo 4, there really isn't anything wildly new or innovative that Blizzard brings to the table. But from what we've seen so far, this will be a huge leap forward for the Diablo franchise itself. The new ways to upgrade characters, the improved ways to share progression across your account, and bringing a much needed facelift to skill trees and how they function. All of these things will hopefully give players a more engaging and deep progression experience than what we've seen in the past. So I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? Are these systems something that you're happy with, or do you think they should have done something different? Let me know in the comments section below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.